Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of Minecraft Mediumcore. It's finally time to finish off all of the builds in this street. In this episode I'm going to go through and finally finish off the last two buildings. I think the last two buildings. Let me check. Pretty sure it's the last two buildings in this area, in this road. Yep, last two. The first one I want to be a flower shop, probably this one. And then that one over there is going to be a home for a groundskeeper and gardener. Someone who can manage this little pond here, all the flowers, as well as do any work in the royal complex if they're needed. As well as feed the axolotls, get fresh fish for them, or just, I don't know, axolotl food from the axolotl food store. Or the axolotl pet shop. These guys are so adorable. I love axolotls. Anyway, that's the plan for this episode. I think I'm actually gonna start with the bigger one first. Start with the start with the full shop. Work my way out from there. Good enough. This is the first layer of the soon-to-be flower shop. I believe, yeah, flower shop, gardening shop, bush shop, tree shop, etc. Very small on the inside, but that's okay because not a lot of people buy flowers in medieval times. So they don't need like massive barrels of stock like most stores. But just some flowers on the inside will be fine. And then everything else will be stored outside, probably. And by stored outside I mean non-existent because unnecessary. It's more of a service really than a shop. But this is the first layer. I think I'll only build one more layer on top of it because I don't want it to be too big since it's not very important, to be honest. But yeah, first layer. I like it. I don't think it's that bad. The exterior of the flower shop is now done. Interior is as bland as usual. That will be fixed soon. Just a small second floor was put in place. And then my old curved roof. I'm not sure how I feel about having the stone brick trim instead of something darker, but I've done black stone trims for so many builds recently. I wanted to do something different, and this looks alright. And I'm also now realizing I missed putting the fence posts in there. There should be fence posts in all these corners, so I'll have to do that when I'm doing the interior. Yeah, I missed all four. Figures. Either way, it is what it is, and that is the exterior of the flower shop all done and dusted. And it's time to work on the interior. And I think, because the roof is so large, I might actually make this a 3-story interior instead of just a 2-story like I had planned. But we'll have to see how it turns out. A full interior has been made. It's not the most detailed interior simply because there wasn't a lot of space to work with. But there is a full interior. So on the first floor, there's some little flowers just set up here, planted, that you can buy, or you can buy a variation of potted flowers, and there's also some hanging from the ceiling. Quite a few, all in all, quite a few plants and flowers. And then the second floor, there's some extra little flowers and plants for the downstairs display when they're bought. If something downstairs gets bought, they can just grab one of these and put it down there before having to go and restock. They've got their own little personal little plant here. separate beds, unfortunately for them, and then they've got just a little barrel, probably for like clothes and jewelry and stuff. And then upstairs, there's a little wardrobe right here, a couple extra plants just for growing in the dark. Well, not dark, but in a different environment. And then there's just a ton of barrels filled with assorted stuff. And by assorted stuff, I mean nothing. But we can pretend. But that's the flower shop all done. And because I put a living quarters in the flower shop, it wouldn't really make sense for this to be a gardener's hut. So what I might actually turn this into is a small storage shed for gardening equipment, maybe a plow for the farmer. Well, maybe not a plow, because it's supposed to be medieval times. Yeah, probably not a plow, but like farming equipment, old metal tools, stone tools maybe, and gardening equipment, little shears for cutting flowers. They probably didn't have those either, but oh well, it is what it is. And yeah, just a storage shed. Just a storage shed. Alright, I'm going to be honest, I did not put a lot of effort into this since I decided it was just going to be a little shed. But I still think it actually doesn't look too bad. I put effort into making sure it had depth and detail, but I didn't put a lot of effort into like making it stylized and designed. So there's no fancy windows or anything, no multi-stories, it's just a simple little shack. And the inside isn't much better, but the inside, it has an interior. There's pots all over the ground, just spare pots. These are supposed to be two different, like, wheelbarrows. This is supposed to be like a big, like, sack of either, like, manure for fertilizer, or just good dirt, or whatever else. This is supposed to be like a shelf for tools, and then it's got a little barrel in it, because if I put a staircase there, it'd mess up the wall. And then it's got a little tool rack. It's supposed to be like an actual mounted tool rack, but since item frames don't connect, it doesn't quite get that effect. And then it's got like some molds and funguses growing on the ceiling from neglect, since it is just a tool shed. It doesn't get a lot of care and attention, as you can tell by how shabby and run down it is. And it's mostly wood, so which means it's a big fire hazard, but that's okay. But with that, that's actually all of the buildings in this street, and which means the base is once again complete for now, because in the next episode, what I'm actually thinking about doing, and this was actually a recommendation from the original guy, was that I just chop this all away, all this big mountainous area, and put a building or two right here. He said it was wasted potential that I left it the way it is, and I think he's kind of right, actually. So that's what I'll be doing in the next episode. And all that's left to do for this episode is map the areas. Because I've been doing this a lot more. I've been trying to do this a lot more consistently now. And that's that one. And that's that one. That blackstone looks very dark. But that's everything. This still looks so weird, just being bright yellow. But that's, wow. That's the base. Done and dusted for the duration of this. Oh wow, that's actually a really cool shot. Seeing all the buildings on both sides with the big mansion in the back, I actually really like that shot. I kind of hope that's the thumbnail, because I've never really had a good shot like that. There was the shot of the townhouses with the mayoral mansion, but that was just not nearly as good as this. And I do hope that's the thumbnail, but whether it is or isn't, I hope you enjoyed this episode of Minecraft Mediumcore, and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.